A lot of people just want to kind of understand what it is, how you use it, and how much it costs. Please be gentle. This is my first video review. Hey guys, my name is Crystal O'Keefe and I'm here from the Clip Out podcast. I've had several people ask me about FightCamp, which is the system you see behind me, and they wanted me to do a video review, so this is my first attempt at that. As far as how much it costs, there's a few different options. The first one is to get wraps with the trackers, and that costs a one-time fee of $439. Another option is to buy the trackers and the quick wraps, and then the bag that you see here, and the gloves. That's a one-time fee of $1,219. Now, you can also get all of what I just mentioned and an additional set of wraps and an additional set of gloves. You can do all that for $1,349. Why would you do that? Well, you might have more than one person in your household that wants to use the FightCamp. You might have kids that want to use the FightCamp. You might be like me and have tiny little hands, so you might have two different sizes of hands that you need to accommodate in your household. Another thing that you probably need to know is that to use the on-demand classes that FightCamp offers, you have to pay an ongoing monthly fee, which is $39 a month. You have access to all of their classes at any time when you do that. And just to be clear, you can have up to 5 people on each account. So not that anybody else in my household really works out on a regular basis, but in theory, everybody in my household could use the FightCamp for $39 a month. So those are all the costs. Now, they do have financing. I'm not going to get into all that, but that is an option. Okay, so next, let's go over the equipment. So first we have the trackers. This is a tracker, and when you tap on it, it will light up red or blue. This one is lighting up red, you can see that. And then you know that that goes in your red wrap. So all you do is put this on, and then it just slides over, and you can see that I'm wearing a Garmin watch. It just slides right over that. Then you use these wraps to wrap around. This adds extra stability for your wrist, so I definitely recommend using wraps. And here are the gloves. They are really nice gloves. I love how sleek they look, but also they are leather and they feel good on. So very easy to use. And there you have it. If you notice at the bottom, there's a black stripe. The belt at the bottom is for you to be able to tighten the bag on top of the base. What happens is you get one box that has the bag in it, and then you get another box that has the base in it. And the base is just a giant plastic empty vessel. Both of those are pretty light and easy to manage. What you do is you fill up that base, and the base has what comes to kind of almost a point, and you're able to put the bag over the top of it. And so it actually acts as a stabilizer inside the bag. And then when you get it all filled up, you put the bag on top, you tighten that belt around it to again give it extra stability. So I don't know how well you can actually see the base from here, so I'm gonna walk over and allow you to see how sturdy this base is. It does not move. Even if you hit really hard, even if you're a big dude, 6 foot something, you're not gonna move that thing. It's great. Now along the bottom, you might be able to see that there is a ring. That ring comes in 4 pieces. You can purchase it separately, and what it does is it gives extra resistance. Let's say you have a tile floor and you put it down, maybe it's sliding around a little, that base ring will act as a bumper around the base, which will keep it from moving. A lot of people ask, what do you fill it with? There's a couple of different options. One, you can fill it with water. You can also fill it with sand. And another option is to fill it with base gel. So my thought was to use the base gel. And it's kind of like, you ever seen those little jellies that kids use? They start off real small, like little dots, and then you put them in water and they absorb and they turn into big dots, which my daughter said that the name of them was Orbeez. She used to love those when she was really little. What this does is basically the same thing. It comes in what looks almost like sand, except it's a small package. It's only about that big. You dump the base gel in, and then you put water on top of it, and then over time, the base gel absorbs the water and it becomes this like gellous mass inside of the base. So it's still very heavy. It's still able to keep the bag still, but you don't have to worry about the sand being everywhere. You don't have to worry about water if something were to happen. So that makes me a lot more comfortable. The other cool thing about base gel is that you can reverse the process. You can turn it back into the substance that you received when it came in the package if you ever need to unpack it. So all of those are great options. I don't think that one is going to be a deal breaker over the other. So whatever makes you more comfortable in your own house. One thing that is a little different for me is that FightCamp only works on an Apple product. So that's a little bit different. What I'm able to do is use this iPad to be able to access all of the classes. And all I use is a Fire cable to be able to add it so it shows up to the TV instantly. There you go, shows up right away. So this is kind of the home page of FightCamp. You can see that there's a whole bunch of different workouts, all kinds of different options here. A couple of things that I think are important to note are the prospect path, which is what I've been using. The prospect path is basically a how-to guide to boxing. You start off with the very beginning of what everything is for FightCamp. And you also get to meet the different instructors. They have a video about each instructor, so you can get to know them, their fighting stance, what they're about, basically. But this teaches you things like the jab, the cross, your hooks, uppercuts. And the other thing it does is tell you about what's called the punch classifiers. There are actually codes to each different class that you take. As you can see, down here in the left-hand corner, it tells you the different kinds of punches and what you're doing with them. It's an overview. But at the top of each class that you take, there's a code and it'll tell you what to do. It'll say, like, for example, 1, 2, 1, 2, 4, 3. And so it leads you through all of that with the prospect path. You learn all of that so you know where you are within each particular class. So this is kind of a long process, but you're not expected to do it in any certain amount of time. So what I love about this is that you might be able to see there's 4 rounds. 4 rounds is about 15 minutes. So that's perfect to add on to a strength workout or maybe a shorter bike ride, maybe a shorter run. You use every bit of your body during this workout, but you can easily add in 4 rounds. 15 minutes isn't long. And a 6 round is usually about 20 minutes. So you've got your 4, your 6, your 8, and your 10. I have not done an 8 or a 10 because I am really worn out by the end of a 6 round. Also, they have several classes that are open. They'll say open on them, like this one, sprawl and plank workout. So you can, anybody who wants to just learn about, have a class that is open to all levels, that's what that means. Then you have your intermediate, which is hands with Flowmaster. It's also 4 rounds, but it might have more in it that you may need to have a little instruction about. So it might go a little bit faster, might be a little bit harder. One of the things I wanted to mention, you can go into the settings and you can choose a music station. So they have 2000s pop, 80s hip hop, 80s pop, electronic dance, and so on. Right now I have mine set on rock, and that's the rock station playing. So it doesn't sound great, but you could easily add a speaker to it or play the sound straight from your iPad, or if you have an iPhone, whatever you want to use for AirPlay. I'm not exactly sure all the options that you have for Apple because, as you guys know, I'm not a really big Apple person. This comes off. This is one piece. This is a second piece, and this goes around the bottom. That's all there is to it. It comes in a couple of different boxes. You don't have to have an installer in your home. There's a lot of you sitting at home during COVID, and maybe your area is starting to open up, but you still don't want, you want to limit the amount of traffic you have in your home. This is a great system to get because you don't have to have an installer. Each piece is shipped to you and you put it together. So I thought you might want to see a couple minutes of an actual workout. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I am going to put my hair back because one thing that I found, if you have really long hair, The static from the gloves, using the gloves on carpet in my basement, quickly adds up to fuzzy hair, and it gets in my eyes and it drives me nuts. So all I gotta do is kind of tap the front of it, and then it connects. And I love that it asks you that before you start.
Boxing-based workout with me, like that. I'm not landing them like this. I'm not scooping the air like
So that was Fight Camp. My name is Crystal O'Keefe, and again, I am from the Clip Out Podcast. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to reach out to me on social media. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and you can find me on Peloton at Clip Out Crystal. You can see that 1873, so 1,873 participants have taken this class, and I came in 1162. I'll take it.